Hey everybody, Steven here, Gear Stuff and Things. Today on the channel we're going to be creating yet another patch within the Quad Cortex. One of my viewers, a gentleman by the name of Corpse Chords, asked if I could create a patch where there's both a clean and a dirty amp in one patch, and essentially how you would change back and forth between those two amps. So I'm going to use this Solar 7-string and the Quad Cortex, of course, inside of Cortex control to show you how we would set up something like that. So I'm going to have two separate amps, a clean amp and a dirty amp, and just do a basic setup and how we can go back and forth between the two using what they call scenes. If you're familiar with Line 6 Helix, they're called snapshots there. But let's go ahead and head over into Cortex control and start making a tone with a few amps and options. All right, friends, so now that we are in Cortex control, we're going to start building out this patch for Mr. Corpse Chords. I've already saved the patch name as Corpse Chords, so this is for you, pal. And we're going to start out by putting a noise gate on things, and I'm also going to show you how we add and remove scene features. So again, so I don't trip myself up, and hopefully I don't throughout the video, we start with one preset and each scene, which we have 8 of. So you have A through H as your scenes. This will allow you to make various parameter changes within the same preset in order to have multiple things going on. And as you see, we have up to 8 options. So you can have 8 completely different sounds within one preset. For this one, we're just going to have basically 2 sounds. We're going to have a clean, we're going to have a dirty, and we're probably going to add a little bit of reverb to the clean just so it sounds a little more tasty. But let's start out with our input gate. So, so for the clean, we really don't need the noise gate on. So we're going to start out by introducing our first scene, which is to take this. If you right click, it's going to say assign to scenes. You click that. If you are in the hardware, if you hold down any parameter for more than a few seconds, you'll see those 4 little white squares like you see here appear. So for the first one, we do not need the input gate on because we're going to start with a clean sound. I'm also going to pick an IR just for fun. So you can pick whatever IR you want when building out your own tones, or you can just use the built-in speaker feature that is in the QC. All of it is wonderful. I'm going to use the rectifier all-purpose because why not? And let's find ourselves a nice clean amp. So, I don't know. Well, let's go with a Roland clean amp. If you're going to go clean, let's go super clean, right? So, Roland Jazz Chorus, pretty clean off the jump. Now, the key to making this work the way we want it to work, or at least how Corpse Chords, I think, would like it to work, which is if we go to one, it's our clean. If we go to another, it's our dirty. We want to go ahead and assign a scene feature. So, right click the power here, assign to scenes. This is going to turn the amp on and off based upon the scene we have it set. So scene A has got our clean amp on, and this is the clean amp so far. It's a clean amp, what can I say? This is a Solar T-shaped guitar, and that's what I'm using for the intents and purposes of this video. What? For the tits and purposes? What am I, like, for the intents and purposes of this video? Look, no one said I was smart. Anyway, moving on, and it's a clean tone. We don't want it to be completely dry, so let's add a little bit of reverb, why don't we? And we'll go with plate tight. Let's hear what we got with that. Oh, that's pretty good. So not bad. And again, this is just for the intents and purposes of the video. Notice that I didn't mess it up that time. Anyhow, we're going to go over here, hit right click, assign to scenes. We want this to be on when we're on the clean channel. Reverb is on, clean amp is on. Now we're going to move over to our dirty option, and we're going to change some parameters. Now, before I get into that, you'll need to remember that we're going to have to kind of do some backpedaling in order for these scenes to be saved correctly. You'll see me do that while we're setting things up, but I know there are people out there who will get annoyed by these little petty processes that are just kind of slightly annoying because you're going to backpedal a little bit. Oh well, you got to click some things. I think your finger will survive. If it won't, you have no business playing guitar anyway, because if you can't click on something, you're probably not doing the best at holding a pick. I don't make excuses for other people, and I'm not going to make them for you. I'll make them for myself, though. I'm full of excuses. It's completely full of shit most of the time. Anyway, let's move on to scene B, which is going to be our dirty patch. So for this, we are going to go over here, and we're going to turn off our clean amp. We're going to go to our reverb, make sure that's off. It is off currently. We're going to go back to our input, and we're going to turn on our noise gate, because when we add a noisy amp, it is it's going to be noisy without the noise gate. It's noisy. Noisy things are noisy. Can you imagine? Anyway, let's go ahead and find ourselves a nice dirty amp. I think I'm just going to go with the EVH 5153 red channel EL34. It's always a safe bet. Let's hear what that sounds. It is on currently. We are using the same IR. We did not replace that. We're not changing out the IR. We're just going between clean and dirty. So right now we have our dirty amp into the same IR. And in channel B, it's turned off the clean amp along with the reverb. So that's what we have. We got the noise gate on. We're quiet, even with the volume up, because we want it quiet when the volume's up. We want a tight, articulate, dirty thing going on, and I think we have achieved that. So we will now hit save. And now what we're going to do is go between A and B, so you have a feel for how it's going. Dirty, and we're going over to A. Oh, see what I said? We're going to have to backpedal. So now we got to assign to scenes there, and we are going to turn off our hot, dirty amp on the clean setting. And now you'll see that it's on in B, off in A. So here we got our cleans. Go to channel B. Now I've noticed that our clean is a little louder than our dirty, so we need to take care of that. So we're going to go over here, drop our output down. Not the most amazing playing. Look, we're just trying to have an example of going between clean and dirty, as well as making some of these parameter changes. So we got our clean, boom, we're going to save it. Dirty, we've got a noticeable volume jump between our clean and dirty, which is what you want in that scenario. And we were able to, have some extra stuff. Now let's say we want to get a little more hog wild. I don't know why. Look, I say things sometimes, and then the moment they come out of my mouth, I'm just kind of embarrassed and ashamed. Anyway, I want to add an overdrive to the front of this amp. Not that it needs it, it's gainy as hell, but let's have some fun. And you can't go wrong with, the 808. And I got a stock setting here that I enjoy. So I'm going to go over here, assign to scenes, and then we're going to check it out. So here we go. All right, so that's on. We will save it to scene B. We're going to go back to scene A. Now remember, I said there's backpedaling when we're making things, so we're going to go back over to scene A. Make sure it's turned off on scene A so that overdrive is not interfering with our clean tone. Boom. So now we've got our clean. So we've got our clean into our dirty. And that right there, Mr. Corpse Chords, is how you do that. That's how you have a clean and a dirty all in one preset. You can also use this same concept to start adding more detailed tweaks and changes to your parameters within each of those things. If you want, a third option, let's say you wanted channel C to be the dirty amp with a different EQ setting, or you wanted the clean amp to have a lot more low end, or whatever parameter you wanted, you would simply just go through and right click on any of these things to assign to scenes. You would choose the associated scene first, of course. If you're doing it in the physical unit itself, just remember you hold it down, or the parameter itself down, for a few seconds, and you'll see that 4 boxes pop up. And it's always right click if you're using Cortex control. But for the intents and purposes of this video, and I said it right this time, and I'm just repeating myself all the time. Look, but for this video, that's it. And I hope that this was helpful to you, Mr. Corpse Chords, as well as anyone else out there who has not used the scenes feature to make a more complex rig setup within the Quad Cortex. So thanks, Mr. Corpse Chords, for chiming in, and I hope I was able to make this video in a timely manner for you. Until next time, bye.
If you like gear, stuff, and things, and you're enjoying the channel, go ahead and hit that subscribe button. Make sure you hit the bell notification so that YouTube lets you know every time a new video goes up. And of course, if you like the video, smash that like button.